Today we're going to go out to Hutto, which is a northern suburb. It sits right here at the intersection of 130 and 79. It's just north of Pflugerville and east of Round Rock. And even though most of the newer housing developments in both Round Rock and Pflugerville are in this same area, most home buyers tend to overlook Hutto because they think it's too rural and it's too far out there. Part of this is driven by the amount of undeveloped land in the area. Once you get outside the housing developments in Hutto, there are a lot of fields. Now, the other side of that is because of all the undeveloped land, this area offers a lot of space for continued new housing development. This is probably one of the major reasons Samsung chose to build their massive new semiconductor plant in Keller, which is only 8 miles down 79 from Hutto. If you're able to think in terms of what the growth will look like over the next 20 to 25 years, is it reasonable to expect this stretch along 79 from Round Rock to Taylor will eventually be developed comparable to this stretch of 45 between Pflugerville and Cedar Park? Now, even though you might think that Hutto is a little far out there, when you consider the easy access to 130 and the easy access to basically anything in Round Rock along Highway 79, the question becomes, what's really the difference between looking at a development, say, like Emery Crossing in this area of Hutto, or Salerno in North Round Rock, which is only a few minutes away on the other side of 130? Let's take a look at how Hutto is laid out and figure out where all the new houses are. Now, to get your bearings, there are two exits off of 130. We've already talked about Highway 79, but this Chris Kelly exit off of 130 provides another route in. They both intersect at the high school, and you can't miss the stadium when you get there. There is some retail and commercial development in this area, but nowhere close to what you'll see in places like Round Rock or Leander. Now, this brings up an important point if you're thinking about buying a house. If it's more important for you to have all the amenities already built out, the retail, the commercial, the restaurants, and the shopping, if that's more important, then you're probably going to be looking at areas further west, and you're probably looking at least an extra $100,000 for a comparable house. In some cases, it can be the exact same house because it's built by the same builder. Now, another way of saying this is that one of the pros of looking for a house in Hutto is that you're probably going to be paying less than you would in any of the other northern suburbs. The con to this, though, is that the Hutto area is not as fully developed when you're looking at amenities like the retail, the shopping, and the restaurants. Now, for the most part, anybody who builds a house has a development somewhere in Hutto, but there are going to be differences in design, size, and price. Let's start at the historic downtown area, which was originally the center of Hutto. Downtown Hutto is much smaller than places like Round Rock, Georgetown, or even Taylor, primarily because Hutto has always been a very small town. Hold on a minute, I want to show you something. This is Henrietta Hippo, which is right downtown Hutto. You're also going to see a lot of hippos like this of various sizes all over Hutto. The story goes that when a circus came through town on the railroad in the 1920s, they stopped in Hutto to water the animals, and one of the hippos got loose. Nobody ever talks about how long it took to catch that hippo and get it back on the train, but ever since that event, Hutto has adopted the hippo as its mascot. Just across the railroad tracks from the historic downtown area is Cottonbrook, which is a Lennar development. D.R. Horton has a development east of Chris Kelly called Southgate. I'm going to group these two together because they're the two biggest home builders in the entire United States. And part of the reason they sell so many homes is they build homes in the entry level and the mid-range price ranges. These are Lennar homes in Cottonbrook. They have floor plans starting around 1,200 square feet and prices starting in the mid $300,000 range. For comparison, these are D.R. Horton homes over in the Southgate development. Their floor plans also start around 1,200 square feet, and their prices are comparable to Lennar. Now, one could argue that D.R. Horton has a better location because of its proximity to 130, but these two communities are so close to each other that it's really going to come down to your preference on the design styles. Of course, if you're looking for a quick move-in, the builder's availability will play a part too. Just north of the historic downtown area, you're going to find Durango Farms, which are Meritage homes. This is a smaller community than D.R. Horton or Lennar, and these Meritage homes tend to be a little bigger. Most of their floor plans start just under 2,000 square feet. Pricing here is going to start around $400,000. This is comparable to the Coventry homes in Hutto Town Square, which is west of the Meritage community along Limmer Loop. The development itself is smaller than the big builders like D.R. Horton and Lennar, and the starting floor plans tend to be bigger. Prices here in Hutto Town Square are also going to start around $400,000. A little bit further north, you'll find Emery Crossing, which are Taylor Morrison homes, and Highlands North, which are Ashton Woods. These are some of the Taylor Morrison homes. Some of these are well over 2,000 square feet. And even though you might find some under $400,000, Most of these homes will be between $500,000 and $600,000. This will eventually be a large community. I think the original forecast was close to 2,000 homes. When you consider that they've only recently completed phase 1, it's safe to say they're going to be building here for a while. These are some of the ash and wood homes, and they're similar to Taylor Morrison in that they tend to be very big and prices can get up over $600,000. Now you might think this is expensive for an area this far out, but if you compare a comparably sized home in Leander or even just across 130 in North Round Rock, you're going to find that a comparably sized home in Hutto is going to be less expensive than any of the other northern suburbs. One other community I want to mention is Cottonwood Farms, which is close to Emery Crossing, but on the opposite side of Edge Schmidt Boulevard. These are Starlight Homes, which is a subsidiary of Ash & Woods. The size, design, and style of these is very different than the Ash & Woods homes we looked at the Highlands North. And these homes offer lower entry-level price points. Don't hesitate to reach out if you had questions about purchasing a home in Hutto or anywhere in the Austin Metro. Wherever you do decide to buy a home, you need to realize that there are some obstacles you're going to need to overcome. And if you check out this video, it's going to help you identify what they are and give you some strategies on how you might overcome them.